Going to a football match in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing new experience in a reality TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow 3 hours before Scotland kick off against Czech Republic. I must wear a mask at all times. I must take in all food from my micro bag into a plastic bag provided by the stadium, and all the catering outlet will be shut. So no NC burgers or cartons of flat Pepsi to keep me going. When I immediately turn up to the stadium 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparked. The pub outside the ground overflow with supporters with but when I said to a steward that I might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. Be careful which pub you go into, she said. They will see you coming. What is she referring to? Could it be the lunch book bag A4 side that I'm clutching? I haven't given my spare ticket to Rear Scott, my friend Alistair, but he's from Edinburgh, so also not 100% at home in Glasgow. We decide to take the advice and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encounter a fan in the loudest tartan suit I've ever seen, including a tiny tartan clutch bag. I pose for a photo with him and he tells me, I tell him, my son, it fits me like a glove. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar European football tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. Culture wars. National football team are symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. English football team has decided pressing issue for Scotland, it is independent. For England, it is race. English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism. But each time they do it, they are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson, Prime Minister, condemned the booing and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of its cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Prue Patel, defended the protesters, are not expressing racism but condemning the Marxist of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, Britain's Home Secretary, has accused players of indulging in gesturing police. Players from the England team, whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, now being asked to wear home security. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better police than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the clashing with the England team. Last year, it went down to a ignominious defeat when it took on Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meal for poor families. Manchester United and England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old Rashford preparation for Euro 2020 included a Zoom call with Barack Obama. While plenty of tourists are prepared to grumble about the work in Rashford, none are willing to take him in public. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar European tournament. Euro 2020, The culture wars of football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game in Russia. They were also booed by the crowd. Doubtless the Russians also protesting against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, owner of the old nation for Euro 20, defended fan who visiting team that take the knee, saying that Hungarians the gesture as a provocation. Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a hero to the Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warning about the elderly dangerous Europe being flooded by Muslims. Even the Muslim. Even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable about the Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a hero to the Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warning about the elderly dangers of Europe being flooded by Muslims. Even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable about footballers taking the knee. But even some moderate conservatives. One prominent Tory thinker in Britain laments me that football is a political space. But now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96. Yeah. When England... that's very cute. Taking the one prominent Tory in Britain laments me that football is a political space. Now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96. When England folded when England also played their games at Wembley, and the whole country did seem to get behind the team in a complicated portal way. Back then, packed the stadium all joined in the singing of the line, football's coming home. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowds are actually bringing the place. But as somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea that the team was never mixed up with politics or race an illusion. I can see what it means. This year's tournament never brings back memories. Euro 96, Euro 9. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowds are actually being the place. But somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the team was never mixed up with politics or race is an illusion. England games always have attracted a substantial number of soldier hooligans and far-right supporters whose trademark chant is "No Surrender Drive A." At the last European football tournament, Euro 2020, at the last European football championship in France in 2006. The ugly tradition of English football hooliganism re-emerged. When I remarked to another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in a near riot outside a bar in Marseille, I was told curtly, "If you don't like it, you should stay at home and watch the game on television." Football ground in the 1970s was also where I saw the most overt racism that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players bark by booths and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So if the current national party want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing police into the political space. But now the national team has become a source of division.
이제 크게 떨어질 뻔했어. 그치?
So if the current national side that they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them. All is recorded. The police, particularly the racial police, yes, have always been there. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. For your changing comes as the Scottish government is ramping up demand for a second independent referendum. This is the first international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, neatly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, I find the local paper full of optimism in recognition of the enormity of the occasion. The Scottish government has even allowed school staff lessons to allow the kids to watch the game against Czech's lives. As a visiting English fan, 맞을 거야. I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournament. I had little options since England failed to qualify for the World Cup in 1974 and 1978, but British identity was less complicated back then. The anthem play for the Scotland side that lined up to play Brazil in 1974 was God Save the Queen, although two recordings did not show the Scottish player looking particularly delighted. Today, the crowd and team will be belting out Love Scotland with the story word that we can still rise now and beat the nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 9,000 people in Southampton. But today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty black and lonely in the stands. Even if the Tartan army has been reduced to little more than a couple of battalions, they built up Love Scotland. With the story that we can still run and be the nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 9,000 people in Southampton. But today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty black and lonelier in the stands. Lonelier in the stands.
간지러운 거 아니야?
Lonelier in the stands. Even if the Tartan army has been reduced to little more than a couple of battalions, they built up Love Scotland loud enough to drown out conversation. The team started the game with all the expected passion and stream forward. Their captain, Andy Robertson, can be seen gesturing to his player to calm down. Then the Czech scored and the air sucked out of the stadium. At halftime, we tried to spend in the toilet next to the hand dryer. The only spot in Hampton, there's hopeful chatter around the that Scotland might be able to turn this round. Early in the second half, football history is made by the Czechs. Patrick, the team center forward, gets the ball in the half line and floats the ball over the Scottish goalkeeper into that. It is one of the most brilliant goals any of us will ever witness. Have a witness.
엄마 이거는 있죠.
지금 그 뭐더라? It is recording now.
그게 뭐야?
녹화되고 있어. It is one of the crowd is now almost toward the sun, apart from a tiny group of cheering checks on the other side of the stadium, and a group of children near me who continue happily shouting for Scotland, while the other around them was frozen in horror. After the match, Alistair reminds me that Scottish fan I used to be the disappointed. Maybe the national football team has a symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for Scotland, it is independent. For England, it is race. It is race. 아닌데? 잘못했다.
이거 말고
The national football. After the match, that reminds me that Scottish fan I used to be their disappointment. Making the national football team a symbol of the nation is double-edged sword. Double-edged sword. Making the national football double-edged sword. We imagine them scoring wonderful goals and celebrating with the fans. But what if your goalkeeper flounder and clown respect and tangled up in the net? Euro 2020 has already delivered humbling setback for two football mad popular leaders. Two football humbling matters. Orban gave permission for capacity crowd to attend Hungary's opening games in Budapest against Portugal, only to see the national side lose 3-0. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, president of Turkey, traveled to Azerbaijan and sat in a place of honor next to the Azerbaijan, only to see the national side lose 3-0. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, president of Turkey, traveled to Azerbaijan and sat in a place of honor next to the Azerbaijan, from where he was able to see Turkey go down to a 2-0 defeat against Russia.
그럼 뭐 있어? 이렇게 없어 그래. 인사를 어렵게 주고 사진은 주었잖아. 이러니까 저렇게 써가지고.
England fans also have a habit of disappointing their most ardent fans. The side often portrays as the embodiment of what we like to believe our national characteristic. Courage, calmness under pressure. In fact, as a recent piece by Jonathan Liu in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely bad at holding a lead in the tournament. The numbers seem to suggest they might be even be battler, and that all has the French and Italians are much better at holding their nerve in when they take lead. If Gareth Southgate, the England manager, can somehow break this cycle and turn England into a winning outfit, he will advertently provide a huge boost to Johnson Cup that is desperate for symbol of the success of Brexit. It is the success of Brexit of Britain. But Southgate has subtly but unmistakably positioned himself to the left of the government on taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and has continued to defend their right to make the statement other than subject by the football. It has become accepted wisdom that culture wars always work better for the right than the left. But football history may be an exception. All poll taken across Europe before 2020 has defended fans who visit. A poll taken across Europe before. Showed 54% of English football fans supported taking the knee, with 39% opposed. If the England keep winning, the number in favor may rise, along with the team's popularity. For once, the right may find itself on the wrong end of culture war for the duration of Euro 2020. I will care much less about who wins the culture war than who wins the tournament. For Scotland, Euro 2020 began with a deflating defeat. The England team disappointed their fans almost as reliably as the Scots. Just slightly later in the day, on the other end, this is a real tournament. It's taking place in the middle of a pandemic. The stadiums are quarter full. England are playing half decently. I am allowing myself to for the weirdest outcome of the lot. An England victory